today's episode of RailVEDA. Now, if you're like me, you will really like coaches and wish that they were cheaper. Well, let me tell you now, that's what I thought, but there are actually today some much cheaper and good value for money coaches that are available out there. Today, what I'll be doing is comparing some very affordable coaches. I'll be comparing Hornby coaches with the railroad coaches and railroad coaches with dapole coaches. So let's get started. Okay, so first up in our coach comparison is the standard Hornby Range Mark 1. So let's get this out of its box. As you can see, this coach, Hornby Mark 1 coach, comes from the fancy packaging that you tend to see with Bachmann coaches and locos to this day. The Hornby Mark 1 features a detailed interior, metal wheels, various underframe details, and also extra couplings at the ends. This also comes along with the printed markings. Now, keep these in mind, as you will notice quite a difference with some other coaches that I'm good. Now, this Mark 1 that you can see here sells for around £20 to £30, around my area at least. Now, let's put this Hornby Mark 1 coach aside for its slightly cheaper alternative. Now, this is the Railroad Mark 1 coach. Now let's get it out of its box. Now you can see here that this Hornby Railroad Mark 1 coach comes with the cheaper packaging, but is there really that much difference between that and the standard Hornby Mark 1 coach? Well, we'll have to take a look. This Hornby Railroad Mark 1 coach features the same underframe details and detailed interior, but it comes with plastic wheels. Quite different to what I've fitted here. I've had to fit these metal wheels instead of the plastic wheels. Now that's a difference. But does that really make the £10, about as much as £15 even, price savings, as this coach sells for around £15 to £20. Now let's take a look at the ends of these coaches. Now, the coach on the right is the Hornby Railroad Range coach, and the coach on the left is the standard Hornby coach. It still features the same extra knuckle coupling, which can be used for realistic coupling if you are to keep rakes of trains with these Mark 1 coaches in a cabinet for or something like that. But look at this. The standard Hornby coach features a C1 marking, while the Hornby Railroad coach does not. It is a subtle difference, which probably saves some money, but the question is it really worth spending that extra £15 on a coach like this one, when you can get this coach for around £15 to £20? Now, let's add another Mark 1 coach into the equation. The Bachmann Mark 1 coach. This Bachmann Mark 1 coach features the same fancy packaging as the Hornby Mark 1 coach, but it also comes with some accessories, including some realistic close couplers. This coach sells for a similar price to the standard Hornby Mark 1 coach of around £20 to £30, but this also features some extra detail. Unlike the Hornby Mark 1 coaches, both standard Hornby and Railroad, the Bachmann Mark 1 coaches feature metal wiring on the ends of the coaches, along with a painted door. They also come with extra underframe details, which are a subtle improvement on the Hornby coaches, and some Bachmann Mark 1 coaches also feature painted tables. In general, the Bachmann Mark 1 coach features slightly more detail than the Hornby Mark 1 coach, and at a fairly similar price. But the question is, what's the point in getting that little bit of extra detail when you can get a Hornby Railroad Mark 1 coach for quite a lot less. Do you see that much of a difference between these three coaches in terms of detail? Now that all those coaches have been pushed to one side, let's take a look at an even cheaper option. Introducing the Dapol Stanier coaches. Now, the packaging used for these Dapol Stanier coaches is much, much worse than the Hornby and Bachmann packaging. But consider this. You can get this coach for around £10 to £15 and potentially even less. The way that Dapol have done this is by inheriting the old Airfix moulds, and they have put together a fairly detailed Stanier coach with the nice long corridor connections and some very limited underframe details, but you still have the interior details. And although the interior details are limited, the windows aren't that good either, which is actually a good thing in a way, because it means that it doesn't show up the fact that you haven't put any people in there, especially if you were to put lighting in here. But from a certain distance, it looks pretty nice. And it's also free for modification. I also forgot to say that these Dapol coaches have plastic wheels. But even so, these actually do run very smoothly on my model railway layout. So, that's 4 fairly inexpensive coaches right in front of you right now, put in order of cost, from the cheapest to the least inexpensive. Which coach would you buy? Well, thanks a lot for watching today's episode of RailVEDA, where that gave you a bit of an insight into the coaches that there are available. If you did enjoy that video, then please do click on the subscribe button for more enjoyable railway videos like this one, in that they are different. And also please stay tuned for tomorrow, as I will be talking about locomotive legends. Yes, that's 2 words, locomotive legends. Until then, thanks a lot for watching. Bye!